Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel once again, and welcome back to the Labyrinth. Oh, uh, oh, uh, of course, because it is episode 110 and I did these from the Labyrinth, I figured I'd do something a little bit different today. But of course, if you are new here, welcome. What we usually do is aside from some of the readings we do, which we're going to do here today, we read poetry. So we read and analyze poetry and discussing it and everything like that. So, if that is your kind of thing, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing, and checking out some of the other episodes of Nigel Tales from the Labyrinth. But in the meantime, today I decided, let's revisit our old friend Aesop and see what he's been up to. So, if you remember a little while back, we looked at some of Aesop's fables. I suppose it's time we go back into it here. Without further ado, let's get it right into it. So, just like last time when we did Aesop's Fables, I have 5 more fables here, so we're going to read them and analyze them. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So, this first one is The Lion and the Mouse. So, oh, thankfully, how this website has it listed out, and if I remember, I will link them in the description. Although it's courtesy of the Library of Congress, which does make sense, and things do get added to the Library of Congress when they're considered historically significant, and things like that. But nevertheless, so how they have it laid out, they have the story, but then they have what the message is supposed to be at the end. So, without further ado, now that that's also out of the way, let's get right into it. And I just have to add something really quick for or this last one. But in the meantime, we'll do this one first. This first one is called The Lion and the Mouse. A lion lay asleep in the forest, his great head resting on his paws. A timid little mouse came upon him unexpectedly, and in her fright and haste to get away, ran across the lion's nose. Roused from his nap, the lion laid his huge paw angrily on the tiny creature to kill her. "Spare me," begged the poor mouse. "Please let me go, and some day I will surely repay you." The lion was much amused to think that a mouse could ever help him, but he was generous and finally let the mouse go. Some days later, while stalking its prey in the forest, the lion was caught in the toils of a hunter's nest. Unable to free himself, he filled the forest with his angry roaring. The mouse knew the voice and quickly found the lion struggling in the net. Running to one of the great ropes that bound him, she gnawed it until it parted, and soon the lion was free. "You laughed when I said I would repay you," said the mouse. "Now you see that even a mouse can help a lion." And the moral to this is, a kindness is never wasted. And that definitely he is one of the morals. But the other one is don't underestimate people. But yeah, kindness is never wasted. Essentially, when you help someone out, and even if they don't return the favor, or oftentimes they'll remember you for it, and will definitely come back to you in good ways. Maybe you later on down the line, maybe not right away, but even if it's not repaid immediately, you'll definitely get your you'll definitely get your repayment in a way, a for your good deed. So, doing act of kindness, and even doing the kindness just for the sake of doing the act of kindness, is sometimes is a reward in of itself. But clearly, there's obviously the reward here, that being the lion spared the mouse, and the mouse helped out the lion. But yeah, so kind of the idea there. But this next one is called The Crow and the Pitcher. In a spell of dry weather, when the birds could find very little to drink, a thirsty crow found a pitcher with a little water in it. Similar to the water I'm drinking here. But anyway, the pitcher was high and had a narrow neck, and no matter how he tried, the crow could not reach the water. The poor thing felt as if he must die of thirst. Then an idea came to him. Picking up some small pebbles, he dropped them into the pitcher one by one. With each pebble, the water rose a little higher until at last it was near enough so he could drink. And the moral to this is, in a pinch, a good use of our wits may help us out. And that definitely is the case. Being able to get around your problems and being able to creatively problem solve. The crow able to use the rocks to raise the water level up and be able to get to reach the top. Definitely able to help himself out there. So sometimes you gotta think outside the box when it comes to solving your problems. But this next one is called the Eagle and the Jackdaw. An eagle, swooping down on powerful wings, seized a lamb in her talons and made off with it to her nest. A jackdaw saw the deed, and his silly head was filled with the idea that he was big and strong enough to do as the eagle had done. So with much rustling of feathers and a fierce air, he came down swiftly on the back of a large ram. But when he tried to rise again, he found that he could not get away, for his claws were tangled in the wool, and so far was he from carrying away the ram that the ram hardly noticed he was there. The shepherd saw the fluttering jackdaw, and at once guessed what had happened. Running up, he caught the bird and clipped its wings. That evening he gave the jackdaw to his children. "What a funny bird this is," they said, laughing. "What do you call it, father?" "That is a jackdaw, my children. But if you should ask him, he would say he is an eagle." And the moral here is do not let your vanity make you overestimate your powers. So essentially, you don't try to why quickly look up what a exactly a jackdaw is. I know it's the type of bird. I just want to see. Okay. But yeah. So pretty much the moral there is don't overestimate yourself. Don't think overly highly of yourself to where you think you're invincible and that you can do everything, because as unfortunately as that poor jackdaw learned, he could not indeed pick up that ram's, and so he was kind of left stuck and then just clipped and brought home essentially, either as a pet or as a trophy, possibly a future taxidermy. But yeah, so don't try to overdo it in your arrogance, essentially, is the lesson there. Alright, so jumping back into it, his next one is the sheep and the pig. One day, a shepherd discovered a fat pig in the meadow where his sheep were pastured. He very quickly captured the porker, which squealed at the top of its voice the moment the shepherd laid his hands on it. You would have thought, to hear the loud squealing, that the pig was being cruelly hurt. But in spite of its squeals and struggles to escape, the shepherd tucked his prize under his arms and started off to the butcher's in the marketplace. The sheep in the pasture were much astonished and amused at the pig's behavior, and followed the shepherd and his charge to the pasture gate. "What makes you squeal like that?" asked one of the sheep. "The shepherd often catches and carries off one of us, but we should feel very much ashamed to make such a terrible fuss about it like you do." "That is all very well," replied the pig, with a squeal and a frantic kick. "When he catches you, he's only after your wool, but he wants my bacon." And the moral here is it is easy to be brave when there is no danger. But also kind of in I guess the pig's defense, lamb is eaten as well, so that's probably even more reason why they shouldn't look down on him so much. But essentially, the moral here that being, of course, once again, is easy to be brave when there is no danger, or when nothing's coming up. We have all been there where we have this hypothetical, like, oh, if this happened, I would do this and I would do this, but then when that actually happens, how often do we actually do that and that? And so it's easy to be brave and puff your chest out and stuff when nothing's going on. But when something does happen, what do you do? In the pig's case, when he's talking to the lambs are like, why you getting so upset? Why you squealing so much? Why are you making such a fuss? The pig's like, hey, he only wants your wool. Like, he only wants your wool. Like, you get it shaved, and then you're on your way. Me, he's gonna make meals out of me. He not even just bacon, but like pork chops and stuff like that. He's gonna make full meals out of me. This is it for me. So definitely keep that in mind as well. And also, you also see the kind of perspectives there, like from the lamb's perspective. Like I said, lamb is eaten, but in this case, like the shepherd only wants the lamb's wool, to make like the clothes and stuff. But the pig, no, the pig's gonna become dinner and breakfast and lunch. So he's got quite a bit to lose. But nevertheless, this last one is called the peacock. The peacock, they say, did not at first have the beautiful feathers in which he now takes so much pride. These Juno, whose favorite he was, granted to him one day when he begged her for a train of feathers to distinguish him from the other birds. Then, decked in his finery, gleaming with emerald, gold, purple, and azure, or azure kind of like blue, he strutted proudly among the birds. All regarded him with envy. Even the most beautiful pheasant could see that his beauty was surpassed. Presently the peacock saw an eagle soaring high up in the blue sky, and felt a desire to fly, as he had been accustomed to do. Lifting his wings, he tried to rise from the ground, but the weight of his magnificent train held him down. Instead of flying up to greet the first rays of the morning sun, or to bathe in the rosy light among the floating clouds at sunset, he would have to walk the ground more encumbered and oppressed than any common barnyard fowl. And the moral there is: do not sacrifice your freedom for the sake of pomp and show. The peacock, at least in this story, and I do like how a lot of these older stories try to give reasonings to why certain things happen, like why the peacock has so many beautiful feathers, like when bees sting you, they die, essentially. But yeah, so the peacock could have been content with flying, but nope, he had to get in his grandstand and his hot dog, and it ended up costing him, because now he can't fly. Peacocks cannot fly. They're one of the flightless birds. There's a number of flightless birds, and peacocks are one of them. But at least within the context of this story, trying to trade in the feathers, trying to trade in his wings, I should say, for the beautiful feathers, so you can strut around and show off and stuff. And it cost him. It definitely cost him. So he'll definitely keep that in mind. But nevertheless, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload videos, you can see as soon as it drops. And let me know in the comments what your thoughts on this episode and these fables, and do you want to see more of Aesop's fables and any other recommendations or suggestions for reading poetry, stuff like that, and I will see if I can, and hopefully if I remember to do so. In fact, I'll try to make a note to remember. I will link the library so you can check out how Aesop's fables. I believe these are all of Aesop's fables, so I will link the Library of Congress website for reading Aesop's fables, so I'll link those in the description, as well as the Poetry Foundation, which, even though we're not doing poetry for today, we still do, when we do poetry, it's usually courtesy of the Poetry Foundation, so they'll be linked in the description as well. Oh, but today is a double feature day, so later on tonight, you will get your review of AEW Dynasty, so that'll be coming later on tonight. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.